Alright, I'm going to be doing a quick run through of Inferno. The way we're going to do this, I'm going to start T side, show you the way they enter, and then CT side how to defend. So, as always, two routes. B. This is going to be the most common entrance in the spawn, doesn't really matter, or not something to worry about. Uh, I'll give you names of some callouts as well. This is bottom mid. You can see mid from here. So, pushing up here, if you're going towards B site, you want to always hug this wall. Because if you don't hug this wall, if you're running and they have an opper, he can peek and see you, you're also going to be blocking your sniper's view. So you want to hug this wall. Another good thing to do, oftentimes if they're nading a lot, is hug this wall, wait a little bit, then peek. If you do that though, you have to be ready for them here. They generally, it's not really feasible for them to get there without you hearing, so nothing to worry about there. As soon as you're here, you have to be aware that someone could be there or someone could be right there. You can see them from quite far away. When you peek, you want to look right there. That's a very common angle. Not really an angle. Check here. Sometimes people play here, but sandbags is really common. There's nades you can do to defeat that pretty well, but we'll ignore that for now. Right there, very common. So, callouts here, sandbags, car. This whole thing's banana. I'm not going to go through every single callout. So, very common angle right there. Very common angle right here. There's two right there on spools. That's that call out. They can be peeking with their head or they can be to the side there. This site is nearly impossible to clear solo. You have to be pushing at people because there's so many instances like right here. There could be someone in dark, but then there could be someone up here as well. You want to generally hug the wall here too, unless you have a smoke. This is one of those examples where having a smoke is really easy. You just throw it there and it'll cover this whole thing. So quick rundown. They can be there. They can sometimes be behind fountain here. Right behind there, right behind there, right behind there. And then when you're on site, it's if you're playing not with a lot of team or if you want to just know where to look, in that corner and then in that corner. But be wary because when you're doing this, if there was someone back here in graveyard, they could have been playing really slow. They could be doing a crossfire here. So, tough site to take. Going through banana is the only typical route. You can go through mid and then do a rotate, but I'm just going to go through the most common stuff. A lot of times people play there, so just know this smoke. Smoking that off as tease is really good. So now we go down here. You can go through apps, just ignore it, never do that. If you want to push from mid, a smoke here is always really good, but if just no one's playing it, you can try and push. If you play from here, Mexico, it's pretty hard to see you. No one's going to be pushed up this far. Sometimes someone will be playing apps right there in that window, and I'll just show you what it looks like. If you were to go up, this is second mid, you run up here. Very often, that's going to be the only combat you have in second mid, is through that window. Pretty rare for them to use either of those, and they're playing weird if they're pushed up. Now you can go all the way into apps. Let's say you went mid, you could have come here, or you could have gone second mid and gotten here, or through apps. Doesn't really matter. Immediately, a lot of quick angles. Someone could be peeking right there. This is a really rare one, but someone can be playing there. You have to kind of just be ready for it, and it's really scary because that is probably the most common angle for watching apps. Another one is playing there, just their head peeking. Down here, this is boiler. And this is a balcony, or bedroom more particularly, and then balconies right there. So there's two ways you can leave apps. I'll show you this way because this is kind of what it's like leaving mid too. It's great to coordinate with someone leaving apps at the same time. Once you've made it this far, right there, and deep in here are the common angles. This is almost no one plays this. Sometimes people play cubby, but the most common is right there. So you want to peek it as far back as you can. You always want to peek further against the wall when you're entering like that. Because the reason being is if you peek here, you're killed from right there. So this would be the way to go to B. No one ever really does in our ranks, no one's going to do that. Here, you want to peek arches, library, cubby. You should be pretty good. Just make sure when you walk by, you check those. Now from here, this is the more rare angle to go. So I'm going to show you. Let's say you cleared this and you go here. Now there's a lot of angles to peek right away. Some could be up there. Some could be right there, right there, right there. I don't really know where people watch from graveyard anymore. But common spot somewhere up there, probably behind this barrel if I had to guess. And then people love playing in pit. So you always have to be careful. So if you want to avoid it, you think sight's clear, you want to enter, as far back as you can. Best planting spot, in my opinion, right here. Because if you're right here, you can watch from there. You can place deep in apps and then peek out. Pretty easy to nade. And then it's really nice for a pit player as well. And then, no one's really going to be defending from up here. They gutted this area. So that's where you plant. I realize I didn't say where you should plant on B. Just out in the open is typically best if you plant over here. If you have a lot of teammates alive, planting far back is pretty good. But right here is good because you can watch from CT, you can watch from there, and then you can watch from back of sight. Now the last place you might push through, god damn it, fuck. I'm doing this one-handed. So you get up here, you clear that, sometimes someone's there. As soon as you peek, see graveyard, very common for someone to be right there as well. And because there's a railing, they can be at different heights. Right here, pit, pit. And then you have a good look at the site, and then you can kind of guess the angles people play from this, like right behind this box, library. Sometimes you'll see people from way back there. A lot of people like playing this little sneaky spot because people will jump down, and even sneakier, a lot of times people leave without clearing back here, and they just back turn to you, you can kill them. So you want to be looking for that. So that's pretty much how you play T side. CT side, I'm going to give you a super quick rundown because I feel like I explained everything B. I'm going to teach you like a utility for each thing. If you're going to B site, the default thing to do is you run here and you throw a Molotov right away right here. Throw a Molotov as quick as you can. You'll beat them, as long as you're actually fast about it. And then from there, if you want to play a more aggressive position, you can play the positions I showed. Car, never do this a lot. You become so easy to read. This is a good angle. This is a really good intel angle. There's some people you'll see play pros where they'll hold this angle so tight that they can only see out of the very corner of their screen and run away, or just play for audio because all they're going to see here is like your shoulder. I wouldn't play sandbags or anything, don't do that. This is a good angle, especially if we're doing 3B. This is a good angle for watch, just get knowledge, they smoke you off, fine, you rotate here. And now we have 3 on B. And then from here, you can play on top of spools. It's a little scary in that situation if they smoke you, that means they pushed up. Normally you want to be here from the beginning of the round. If you need to fall off, falling further back into graveyard, just keep that little line of sight. And then if they're making it on the site, you want to play even further back. So I'm just kind of showing you the more long range spots. There's a lot of close range things like up there. You can boost, and this is good to do like a couple times a game. Right here, usually with the crossfire, you can do some pretty good stuff. So I would recommend getting in the habit of mollying this, and then you can fall back, you can play spools, and then this spot is really nice for a sniper. It's super hard for them to push you, unless they have a molly saved or something, and if they do, if they're doing that often, you can keep a smoke and put it out right away. And just kind of make sure you're not always in the same spot. You can rotate to the other spots I was saying you should look out for as a T. Here is the best side or best angle for arches. You watch right here. You shoot, you back up, you shoot, you back up. If you want more aggressive, of course, once you get here, if you had a good spawn, it's a sniper fight pretty much right away. But you can do a quick peek and then back off. If they were watching the sniper, don't re-peek. Uh, you can go for a jump cross, and playing from right over here is really good. The reason I like here more than here is if they push, you're trapped. You're fighting this to the death. If you're here, you can back up. You don't want to peek angles like this because your left side is worse. You're better at peeking with your right half in terms of what body shows up. And I would say worry about just playing those two spots. Ignore apps. Someone else will play apps pretty much always. If you're doing 3A, you can play really passive and play from arches. This is very often a rotate spot. You hear B, go back. You can fall back if you know they're coming apps. Someone told you they're coming apps. You can back up all the way to bedroom. You can play from cubby. I don't like cubby that much, so I wouldn't do that. But back here is good. Pit is really nice if you have no one on your team playing pit, but people love this spot. Really good for sniping, but you're the anchor on this site. If you're in this position, you take forever to rotate. And then you can watch there, and then you also have to be wary of up there. The reason I like further back is so you can see apps, but if you have someone else watching apps, this is the better spot because you're covered from apps. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. The only additional thing I want to add is if you think they're playing pretty aggressive, you don't throw this utility right away, you wait a little bit. Just throw a smoke grenade somewhere a little above the ground on this orange wall, and it'll bounce and it'll cover this whole thing. It'll stop a push if they're a pretty rush heavy team.